Hey, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with a state of the market video. Today is October 29th, 2022. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security, and I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, if you like these types of videos, go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. That really does help me, and I appreciate it. So please just stop and do it right now. What else? If you like these types of videos, tomorrow I do a stocks to watch video, which I post on the channel as well. So you could go ahead and take a look at that. If you like this content, you can go ahead and find me at Twitter at AlphaCharts365, where I post things all week long about what I'm seeing in the markets. And if you really like my content, you could become a super follow through Twitter. And for a very small fee, you're going to get tons of extra content, including market notes, extra videos, daily scans, and things of that nature. Okay. Let's get to these charts. SPX. So we had a really strong week. Looking at the weekly chart, let's just go there. 3.95 up for the week. And the prior week, it was up 4.74. So nice follow through action. Again, coming back to this chart here. If we look at the 50-day, it's still declining with price above it. And right about here is 50 bars, right? So over the next week or two, 4, 5, yeah, it will be down here over the next 2 weeks. So if price can stay above it in this area somewhere, you're going to get a flattening 50-day, and hopefully it'll start turning up again. Again, we'll have the 200-day again coming down somewhere in this area right there. And then we'll have to see what happens. Maybe we pop up above it, maybe we don't. I think this is the next target area, even more than the 50-day. This is where price has found supply and resistance in the past, support resistance. So that's a big deal. And it's also where you're going to find this downtrend line, right? So that'd be a change of character, change of momentum in this. And you have potentially a big double bottom if you get above this area, right? That's, anywhere in here. That's a big deal. So that's what we're looking at for a potential longer term bottom in the market. Again, great price action, and we'll see what happens there. Looking at the RSP, so on the week, we were up 5.5% on the RSP, right? That's a big deal. So it's more than the SPX. And the biggest reason is we had Amazon holding us back. And you also had some other issues. Meta had a really rough day this week and some other issues. So that's why you're seeing the discrepancy between RSP and SPX. But what we are seeing is that there is a ton of momentum under the surface, and not even momentum, but broad-based buying under the surface of non-mega cap stocks. I think that's really important too. Again, your 50 days probably around right there. And so over the next 2 weeks, we would be having a flat to upward sloping 50-day. All right. Longer term, we still have this 200-day still declining on the RSP. And so we'll have to figure out if, what happens when price gets into this 145, 146 range. Again, it's been important all the way for, almost a year and a half now. So it's a big deal. Again, maybe a double bottom's forming, maybe it's not. We'll only know after the fact, but this is my next potential target. I hate to use the word target, but place where things could, supply may be found, basically. So we'll see what happens. Again, we'll go straight up. I don't know, it could. I mean, I expect some choppiness along the way, but that's the area that I'm looking at. All right. Looking at the Qs, again, this one not as nice looking. On the weekly, it's only up 2.11. And we're way below the declining 50-day. So, this 295 to 300 area has been important forever, since 2020. And I think it's still important as we keep going forward. Even if this 50 days does start to flatten out, this is the first area of potential supply. Then you have the 200 and this area right there, which again, probably a little bit less prominent than 295 to 300. All right. Again, it has that double bottom potential look to it if price can get above this area right there. Again, not as good looking. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the technology type names are not doing as good as non-technology names. That's basically what it tells me. All right. Again, this was up 2.11, and looking at the equal weight, if I can type this right, was up 4.58. Yeah. So basically, Facebook took, I mean, a lot of the mega caps, Facebook among others, took a gigantic move backwards this week, which really hurt the weighted index. But the equal weight did very, very well, is above the 50-day now, is coming into area supply. We're getting on the short-term moving averages across. So the equal weight cues look much better. So under the surface, the smaller name, and again, smaller, I'm saying smaller than mega cap names. The smaller names are doing just fine under the surface. Again, on the week, it was up 4.58. So a very, very strong week for technology under the surface. The cues don't really show it. But again, a very bullish look, having equal weights doing what they're doing. Yeah, IWM on the weekly. I like to see what they did on the week. 6.06. It's nice to see IWM leading, right? More than everything else. So we're going to find out very soon. Again, it's above the 50-day. Is this a head and shoulders top, or is this a double bottom, right? Like I said before, one man's head and shoulders is another man's double bottom. Again, we're going to find out real soon, I think, what happens at this, 187-ish to 190, 191 area, right? Because if we get above this area, it's more likely a double bottom. If we get below it, if we stay below it, more like a head and shoulders top. Again, we're going to find out soon enough, but I could easily draw in the double bottom here. Again, looks really good over the next week. If we stay in this area, this 50-day will start to flatten out and start to have a much more bullish look to it. All right. An IWO, small cap growth on the weekly, 5.67. Again, a very strong week. And again, nice bullish look to it above the 50-day. Now 3 days above the 50-day. Love that. This day was a little bit of a reversal day, reversal looking candle with an inverted hammer, and then a tiny bit of follow through, but not really to the downside. But on Friday, it really came back. So there you go. There's your 200-day right there. If pricing get above that, that would be a very, very, again, bullish scenario. Price hasn't been above the 200-day on the IWO since November, for a year, basically a year, right? So it's been a minute. So, and again, we topped almost exactly a year ago, right? In another week, it'll be a year. So here's what it is, right? But this looks pretty good. I like it, again, even more if it gets above this 200-day at 230. But things are looking pretty good on this. All right, let's keep going. Mid caps. Always like to be complete. Here's your mid caps on the week. 5.32. Again, a very strong week. Things are moving higher. Everything looks good. Again, looking forward over the next week to be able to take out these bars over here and over the next 2 weeks, really, and have a 50-day start to flatten out. So that'd be pretty cool. All right, let's look at the indexes. I'm sorry, the sectors. All right, financials held where they had to. Beautiful reversal bar on this day back in October, and they haven't really looked back yet. Same thing for this. They look very similar to the indexes, to be honest with you. So we'll find out if this if we get above the 200-day very soon. That's only what is it, 80 cents or so, less than 80 cents, 75 cents or so, away. So it's really close. We'll see what happens when price gets up there. It's been a strong move. I don't expect it to go straight up. It may reverse a little bit and then break above it. We'll see. But at that time, you'll have a much more bullish look to it, as far as the 50-day flattening out, which is starting to try to do a little bit, and will continue to do again if we can stay in this area over the next week or so. 50-day will start flattening out. So a good look on the XLF. SMH on the week, 3.45. So a little bit less than the indexes. So the equal weight index, I should say. And it's coming into this prior area and it's still below a declining 50-day by a lot. So you see that semiconductors aren't leading our way out of here. And maybe that'll change soon. I don't know. But that's probably the only negative. It's not doing bad, but I'd like to see it get above this 50-day for sure, right? I mean, that's step one, this $200 area, get above this particular area. Again, $200 also, it may have a little supply issues coming into here and it's not leading lower volume move on Friday. So again, you can't knock price, but not beautiful. Let's look at transports. Transports up 5.89, equal weighted, of course. Looks pretty good. So I think this is now bunk. So we're going to get rid of this. It didn't happen. It shot right through it. It's above the 50-day. It's holding above the 50-day. That's definitely a positive on the economy in general and also on the market, I believe. XHB housing, right? Everyone's saying housing is going to crash. Well, it was up 7.12 on the week. So maybe housing doesn't crash as much as people think. And now it is above the 50-day. It's starting to look good again. Again, is this a double bottom? We'll only know after the fact. It's definitely going to have to get above this general area to be a double bottom. So we got a ways to go. But overall, things are looking okay in housing world, right? So looking at those sector ETFs to kind of tell the broad sense of the economy, it looks like things are doing good, but technology, again, may or may not be the one that is going to lead us out of this this malaise we're in, this not recession, this pullback in the markets, the bear market. Let's look at the VIX. All right, so looking at internals, and we always start with the VIX, and I missed one, I think. 23-day. Got it. Looking at the VIX, below 27, right? It's at 25. Again, more of a trending up market. I like that. We noticed a change in the VIX early on, that the market was declining while the VIX was declining, which didn't make sense. And so the market reversed and the VIX was right. And so over the next 30 days, I think it's portraying a good trending market that we can make some money in. And that's a positive, right? I've been talking about this end of year rally coming. And I think the VIX is saying, yes, the end of year rally is coming. I'm looking at credit spreads. Yeah. So we're underneath this kind of triangle-ish pattern that I drawn in here. Credit spreads is saying the same thing, that end of year rally is coming. Things are looking better in the markets, right? Let's just look at here, TNX. It kind of held where it had to. It may still move higher, but or it could just chop around in this area. We'll see. But still above 4, which is not 0, right? And let's look at the dollar. And the dollar has declined from the high. We'll see if it continues to decline or not. It's got lower highs and lower lows, so that's a positive on the market as well. Looking at sentiment. Looking at sentiment, again, mixed on the sentiment side of things. So I think that's just no signal, right? We're looking for extremes on sentiment. So we always track it, but it only gives us extreme numbers every so often, right? Yeah, every so often. So, but we still have to track it. And looking at breadth. Breadth continues to improve. Again, we noticed the improving breadth and the declining VIX, declining credit spreads for the last few weeks, and the market is finally responding to those, and it's doing well, right? So that's really nice to see. And then looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is trying to stage a comeback, right? It held again where it had to hold. And now it's trying to move higher. We'll see if it does, but it's over 20,000. This was the area, this 17.5, 18,000 area was really important to hold. It did, and now is trying to move higher. So I think, again, that's a positive for the market overall. So let's say in summation, on the Qs, again, still kind of wide and loose. SPX looks a little bit better, but equal weight Qs look amazing, right? And I think that is the tell that mega caps are out of favor. And if you're going to play technology or any of those types of things, that you want to play maybe mid caps, because mid caps are doing very well. But overall, I think we're in for an end of year rally. I think that, we could definitely go up to, who knows, easy as 6 more percent, 10%, something like that. See what happens when it gets up to this area. And then again, we will take it from there. So say the market, I think we're definitely in a tradable rally. Don't know if this is the bottom, but this was definitely a bottom. And then let's make some money on the way up. And then if things start to turn against us once we get into this area, and we'll know that from the internals, we'll know that from our sector ETFs and things like that, then we'll know that it's time to get defensive again. But for now, tradable rally on. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, do it right now. It really helps me out. I appreciate it. On Twitter at AlphaCharts365. Y'all have an amazing day. Tomorrow, stocks to watch. Take care. Bye.